Welcome to PostGrad Entertainment presents PostGrad Movies, the game. Today, what?
Nothing. That was last week's joke.
No, that was not last week's joke. Was us saying that it was the movie based on the game based on this. This is saying that the movie podcast has become a game.
It's the same joke.
No, afterwards.
No, it's like saying, why did the road cross the chicken? It's the same joke. It's just reworked.
I don't.
The road wanted to get to the other side of the chicken.
That sounds like a really bad joke.
I never said it was a good joke. Yeah, kind of like most of the jokes so far.
All right. So anyway, welcome to PostGrad Entertainment presents PostGrad Movies. I am Cool Guy Rightpad, and that other guy over there is the Cognitive Gamer.
I am the Cognitive Gamer, and by over there you mean across an ocean.
Right. That's exactly what I mean. If you are interested in following us at any point, you can follow me at the Rightpad on Twitter, which I found out I changed it, and for some reason it was appearing wrong on Google. So yeah, there's that. And if you want to follow the Cognitive Gamer, you go to, where was it again?
At Cognitive Gamer.
Wow, that was creative. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not about creativity. It's about getting my name out there. Also, you can read about my thoughts and opinions at electricfeast.com.
They're terrifying.
Currently, I am a feature writer, what is it? Associate editor. Whatever it is. I don't get paid.
Person.
I don't get paid. I volunteer to write opinion pieces about media. And currently, I just put up a nostalgia piece and how it's Nintendo's only strategy at selling games at people. And it's working.
Selling games at people, not to people.
Yeah. It has been selling. Nintendo has essentially been selling the same game for over 10 years, 15, 20 years.
Come on, Mario Party 57. Come on.
It's goddamn. Yeah, it's getting. Actually, they changed it. This year it is Me Party instead of Mario Party. So you are the party. You? Yes, me.
Well.
No, you, me. It should be the Me Party you. That would be
I don't even know what that means.
So awful.
The Me Party U, because it's for the Wii U. Oh.
Yeah, it's for the Wii U, and it's Me Party. So Me Party you. Party me. Me Party. Anyway, and then I have another piece that is a review of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which we'll dive into later. And I also have an opinion piece on the finale of Breaking Bad.
Really? Where can we find that? In the same place?
Electric Feast, electricfeast.com.
All right. Oh, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have nothing because I'm cool that way.
You should start writing stuff.
I do a lot of nothing. I pretty much, while he's writing all of the things that he's writing, I pretty much sit here, don't move for a day, and eat a lot of chips. It's sort of my modus operandi. And
just like a bag of chips, like an entire bag of chips, and you didn't even realize it.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lean a little bit farther back right now. And
this is a great podcast. People love hearing about your stretching.
This is my bag of chips.
This really is. What kind of chips is it?
Dude, what other kind of chips? The black bean, right? The black bean chips. Okay, everyone. This is going to be the Tostitos chip spotlight. Totally not sponsored by Tostitos. If you haven't had the roasted...
Of course not! This is something you made up right now.
If you have not tried the Tostitos roasted garlic and black bean chips... They are to die for, and these are my go-to chips. Always my go-to chips.
You stop holding up the bag of chips. Nobody can see the bag of chips.
I gotta hold it close enough to the microphone to hear the amazing noises that it makes.
So going back to the original question, that was about half full. So how long did it take you to eat that?
I don't keep track. That may or may not be the fifth bag.
An entire bag of chips the other day, and that is all I ate all day. I just ate a bag of chips.
It's the kind of thing that you eat it and then you feel bad about yourself, so you eat a lot of ice cream watching a movie, and then you feel awful about yourself afterwards.
No, actually, I had a piece of fried chicken later. Not much better. No, I went out and I bought a bag of low-sodium Ruffle like Lay's,
Why?
like wavy
Why
Lay's.
would you buy low sodium chips? That's not.
Because the ones with the like if you, I also got ranch dip. So if you take normal wavy Lay's and ranch dip, the amount of sodium melts your taste buds. You can't taste anything for a week. Now I only can not taste things for like 3 days.
At least it's an improvement, right?
So the point is, I ate an entire bag of chips and I feel bad about myself. So today, I'm hungry because I had a yogurt
And
and
that's
a
it.
and a protein shake, and I also had some tea. I know that's not how weight works, but it helps me emotionally.
All right, so
Man, that was a great story, isn't it? About how I ate an entire bag of chips. It just really makes for a good time. It was worth it though. Oh my god, I have pizza rolls.
Anyway.
I just got excited for dinner, folks. And welcome to PostGrad Entertainment, where we talk about being poor and sad.
Isn't that what the postgraduate life is all about, though? I mean, let's get real here. It's about being poor and not eating a lot of food and being sad and then paying for movies, apparently, because that's what you do.
We get a student discount, though. So
I don't. Not in Puerto Rico. They give you a student discount if you're from elementary, middle, high school kind of thing. That's student discount. But university students don't get discounts.
Why don't you just use your high school ID?
Whoever had a high school? No one has high school IDs here. Not that I've seen. I haven't seen a high school ID. I don't have a high school ID.
Then how do you get a discount if you're in high school?
You just tell them you're a high school student, but they're not going to believe
me.
Just do
that like a normal.
I mean, everyone here is hairy, but not this hairy. Dear God.
So you shave.
That's
worth saving $5 to go to a movie. Right. I would shave to do that. I would shave parts of me that I normally wouldn't shave to save money.
Like your armpits, right? That's what you're talking about, right?
Man, that would be so uncomfortable.
That would
because it would grow in.
Right, yeah, that would be really, really annoying. Anyway, if you guys have not heard PostGrad Entertainment before, this is basically our way of keeping up with each other now that we're both graduated and moved to separate places. So anyway, we were going to talk about what we did this week, and notably, the thing that we both did this week was watch the finale of Breaking Bad, Felina, which happens to be an anagram of finale, in case you didn't notice. But, yeah.
That's good fact of the week.
I'm glad that you sound so fantastic. You really point that out nicely. But anyway, if you don't want to hear Breaking Bad spoilers, which I'm sure the internet is full of right now, just horrible, disgusting spoilers. But anyway, you can go ahead and skip forward to when we're not talking about Breaking Bad. Or if you really don't care, or if you've seen it, you can hang around while we talk about it. So, without further ado, what did you think of the finale?
Garbage. Really? Rotten hell.
I'm
just kidding.
Really?
No.
There's going to be... First, I would like to take note right now that there were probably a lot of Breaking Bad fans that as soon as you said that, they just X'd out of the podcast, and we're going to lose them forever because you said it was garbage, and they're like, nope, and just right out of there, and we it's
just
over.
Arrogant asshole.
Our relationship is over.
And I have said that I was not blown away by the finale, and people get mad at me for that. I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't find it like mind-shattering. To me, it was a laundry list. It was a laundry list that the writers essentially went down and just checked. It was like, nope, he ate the breakfast. Yep, he got the 60. Yep, he killed that character. Yep, he visited his family. Yep, and then he ended it. It was almost like, oh, this is what the fans want. So we're just going to go down this 90s little list, and we're going to do all of that. Yep, and you're going to feel satisfied and great and have nothing to discuss the next day besides how wonderful it was.
Well, see, I think, actually, that there were some wonderful things that were being done, at least in the finale. But then again, Breaking Bad is sort of known for doing these beautiful things with camera work and with cinematography when it's kind of necessary. You know, they use a lot of pull focusing. They use a lot of wide establishing shots, or just wide shots in general that aren't even establishing. They're just sort of beautiful to look at, you know? And I think actually one of my favorite scenes in the ending, in the finale, was that scene with Skyler and Walt. Actually, can I just say that Vince Gilligan actually was the one that directed this episode, which is really cool because he wrote it, directed it, everything. It was full circle again. But that one scene with Anna Gunn and Bryan Cranston was great because
Yeah.
the smooth, the really wide angle, the really wide lens that was being used in the beginning, pointing at the door and then slowly pivoting to the side and showing Anna Gunn's character talking to her sister, and then she hangs up and all of a sudden the camera moves forward and you see Walt behind the pillar, not the pillar but the piece of wood. And then from that point on, they're talking back and forth, and then as soon as they start fighting, there's a shot from farther away, but this time it uses the piece of wood not to hide Walt, but it puts the piece of wood between Anna Gunn and Bryan Cranston. And you have the piece of wood, one to the left, one to the right, and there's just this deep split, this chasm between both of them, but they reach an understanding of where everything is going at that moment, and they know that there's no going back. They know that they're going to be split forever, and it's wonderful. That scene was great. I loved it.
And to continue off of that, when they're upstairs saying goodbye to Holly, and the scene where Walt is standing there near the door after he says, she looks great, to Holly, and then just leaves, and Anna Gunn just stands there alone in a room with his child and her shadows being cast, or maybe not, I don't remember. I just remember it being very sad, and the lighting was great, and it was just it almost seemed like she does this often. It seemed like she just comes into the room and just stares at Holly and just reflects on her life. And then Walt's not there. He was there for half a second, pretended to be a family again, and just disappeared in the night. So,
and it really, that shot really reminded me of I think it kind of echoed a little bit the scene by a few I mean last episode, where the person that was hiding Walt off in the mountains brought him his chemotherapy stuff, and he was taking the chemotherapy, and he's sitting there, and the guy's just gonna leave, and Walt says, wait a second, and he says in the saddest voice I've ever heard come out of anyone, he just says, "Stay," and it's heartbreaking. It was completely shattering to my feels, and I it was just the loneliness and the sadness inherent in his voice and the way he was acting was so sad, and it really affected me. And it got to the point where he had to give the guy $10,000 to stay with him.
Yeah.
Oh God. Oh.
Rich people problems, right? Am I right? Having to pay your friends.
No.
Going back to the finale, I thought it was good. It was another great piece of television. It was well written. It was well shot. It was good. But the feelings that it left and was satisfactory.
See, I think that in reality, this has a lot to do with that one. I forget what it is. Shakespeare, where at the end of the screenplay, there, the king dies, and all that, it sounds really corny, but all that's written at the end is, as soon as the king dies, is just, he died. There's no fanfare, there's no explanation, there's no nothing. And that's sort of mirrored in Breaking Bad when he's walking around the meth lab there or whatever, and then all of a sudden he's walking around, he's fine, the police are coming, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden there's a shot of him on the ground. There's no in between of him collapsing, there's no nothing. All of a sudden he's on the ground, camera is kind of moving upwards, and you see all of the police coming around him, and you realize the king died. Just, he died. There was nothing amazing, there was nothing special, it just happened,
except for the gaping bullet wound.
Well, apart from that, but there really was no, apart from him touching the bullet wound, that was it. There was no special thing about the bullet wound. But I found an odd parallel that was used really well between his death in the show and the death in Shakespeare's play, which I mean, some people like it, other people don't, you know. And I think it was okay, but at the same time, it left you empty inside. You know what I
It was
mean?
a cop out. I was really disappointed. It was like, oh, we got hit by a stray bullet somehow. So that eliminates the need for somebody to physically pull the trigger. It pretty much wrote itself out of having somebody to actually pull the trigger, whether that be Walt or Jesse or Todd or Uncle Jack. It doesn't matter who shot him. It was a cop out. It was like, oh, it was an accident. Now I'm gonna die,
But then again,
which was disappointing. It was incredibly disappointing.
can I just say though that I felt kind of the same way that he just sort of died like that, but I feel that it was called for because of the fact that he saved Jesse. You know, he knocked him down. He didn't want Jesse to die. You know, he knocked him down, used his body to protect him from what he knew was coming, and he got hit by a bullet. You don't know if it was his own bullet. It might have been his own bullet. You don't know if it was somebody else's bullet, and you kind of feel that he got hit and died because he was protecting Jesse, you know?
It was still it felt disappointing. Like because yeah, he did knock down Jesse, but it was almost like the whole final like 2 episodes was like his self-realization that he is a monster and he will always be a monster, but then he tried to almost redeem himself at the end, being apologetic to Skylar. Not really apologizing. It was more of a confession that like I didn't do this for the family. I did it for me. And then knocking over Jesse to quote unquote save him. Like, sure. He just didn't want any more people to die because of him. It felt like at the end. Like,
Except for the people that needed to die.
except for the neo-Nazis. You know, that's what I meant. But they deserved it. They're neo-Nazis.
They were kind of terrible people. I love how Todd survived, and he's like, oh no, everyone's dead. He looks out the window and goes, wow, Mr. White. Just
such a weirdo.
He's unfeeling, completely and utterly just a complete sociopath. It's insane. He's crazy, and he feels nothing. He feels absolutely nothing.
Well, I mean, now he feels metal around his neck. And
well, hot diddly dog, Mr. White.
Somebody put a gun in your car.
that was a hell of an apparatus, Mr. White. Congratulations. Sorry for your loss.
I don't know. It felt convenient. It was like, hey, I'm going to break into these billionaires' houses and convince them to. I thought that was really shocking. I wasn't anticipating him going to Gretchen and Elliot to. I'm gonna skip to the beginning now.
Okay.
Essentially, so what I found surprising about the episode was him convincing Elliot and Gretchen to protect his money that he's meaning to give to Flynn. That was surprising. I wasn't expecting him to go there. And then it was also so convenient to be like, yeah, you'll believe me. These red dots on your chest will have you believe me. And it's like, okay, this is kind of lame.
Oh, come
and it's
on.
like, oh, Badger and Skinny Pete ended up being the people that he went to somehow for some random reason.
That was hilarious.
He just had their numbers in his phone that he doesn't have, and somehow got in contact with them. Oh, maybe he just went down to the local watering hole and ran into him.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
That was stupid. That was
awesome.
Fan service and unnecessary.
I don't think so. I think the fact that he did that shows that he.
No, the Skinny Pete and Badger. He just randomly ran into them, and they've just randomly.
Okay, come on. You're calling that fan service, and that it was totally unbelievable. And then how did he get past all of the security at Skylar's house to get in to talk to?
Oh, that too. No, I was getting to that. I was trying to get the beginning. You know, how did he get across country in a stolen car?
Okay. Let me. Okay. See, the thing is, right now, you're trying to look for loopholes in the plot. But let me.
It was like at the same time it's almost like they wrote themselves so tidy that they forgot that the show's about being sloppy, about making mistakes, about trying to clean up messes that because of consequences, and they almost wrote it too tidy. It was like, let's make this perfect. Let's have him not get caught by, the cops. Let him have not incident. And obviously that has to do with time and money. Let us throw in characters that fans will love at the very end, even though it makes absolutely no sense. Let's have some kind of loophole that allows him to use his drug money to actually help his family. Let him have a moral change at the very end. Let's not have the final decision of Walt's life be made by another human being or even his own. Let's let it just have happen by accident. Let's have Jesse actually escape and ride into the sunset. It was just almost too tidy. Let's have all the neo-Nazis die conveniently all at once in the same room. Like, come on, people.
See,
It was almost fantastical.
The thing is, by the time that Walt had left, 34 episodes ago, he was sort of an ever-present force in everyone's lives back at his house, even though he wasn't actually there. The entire United States was looking for him. It was a nationwide manhunt, and somehow he had managed to disappear. And then they kept these themes of Walt being a ghost throughout the last couple of episodes, and I think that that's what the writers are trying to achieve, especially in this last bit. You had shots where he wasn't there, and then all of a sudden he was there, and somehow he walks into the mansion, and he opens the door and closes it, and it makes a lot of noise, and these people just don't hear him. He's walking around looking at things. He's getting past security. He somehow convinces people that they don't have to check his car for guns. It's all about the metaphor that he's already gone, that he's already a ghost, and he's just sort of the last remnants of him are hanging above everyone's life, and as each of them gets a closure, it happens in a specific kind of way. It happens in a different way. And
that's stupid.
Oh, come on.
he thematically he's a ghost because it's so unrealistic. He has to become a paranormal being.
It's not.
Like,
no. I'm talking metaphor.
Again, it's for artistic and thematic purposes, but you're trying to explain unrealistic aspects of the last episode via artistic
liberty. Yeah, I mean, what that's the equivalent of you. That's the equivalent of you going like.
Do that.
That's the okay. That's the equivalent of you going like, oh yeah, in Greece in the finale when they fly off in a car. That's totally unrealistic. That's bullcrap. No. You take it. You start realizing that they intermingle the reality of a movie or the reality of a show with metaphor.
Yeah. But that's not what Breaking Bad was about. I mean, the underlining tones of like saying that your actions constantly affect others, even on a global scale. Yeah, that's been an undertone forever. But to take it to as far as the main character all of a sudden can break the laws of physics or can somehow be above the law because why not? That's utter ridiculousness. It doesn't make any sense. Essentially, what I think they did was just try to appease people. They wanted to give people closure, and they did that. They ended the conversation. They wanted to put that period at the end of the sentence, and they achieved that. They essentially gave everybody that watched the show and enjoyed the show exactly what they wanted. But unfortunately, I believe was that the right choice? I don't know, but currently I feel it was almost too nice of a closure. You gave me everything I could possibly have wanted to know, and now I have nothing else to ruminate on. I mean, a lot of people have been comparing this ending to Sopranos as saying it's like a total juxtaposition of it, the Sopranos ended in such vagueness. But we're still talking about the Sopranos. We're still like thinking about the possibilities of what happened at the end of that show, and yet with Breaking Bad we have everything. It laid all its cards on the table. So
you would have preferred a more maybe ambiguous ending, as I mean, like it happens sometimes, or a cliffhanger or something.
I don't know what I want, and that's the thing. Like, they gave me what they gave me, and what I'm dealing with is essentially, yeah, you gave me, everything that I could have predicted. One of the many possibilities, and it was very nice and it was tidy, but it left nothing to the imagination, and I'm not quite sure if that's what I wanted or if that's even what I or still want. Essentially, I think I made a really good analogy in my write-up I did on electricfeast.com. Was essentially shameless plug. They closed the book and it left me unwanting to check the pages. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go to episode 1 and look for stuff. I don't care anymore. I already know. I don't know. It left me unwanting and satisfied, essentially.
I feel like you are going to get harassed so bad on Twitter or on your blog.
That's fine. I mean, I will defend my opinion. I'm not saying it was a bad episode. I'm saying it didn't or it wasn't maybe what people wanted or whatever. It was a very good finale. It was good. It was solid, but it doesn't have that.
Oomph is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it was missing that oomph. Like yes, perfect. It wasn't. I wasn't today like thinking about it all night. I wasn't up all night trying to figure out the pieces. I wasn't thinking about it today. I had multiple conversations about it with other people, and essentially boiled down to, yeah, it was good. Yes, it was good. End of story. Like it wasn't. I was really surprised by this. I wasn't. I can't believe that happened. It was. Yeah, that was exactly what everybody was expecting, and I think that's great, but it doesn't lead to a legacy that people will talk to forever, which something Vince Gilligan even mentioned in Talking Bad. He's like, I want the show to have legacy. And yes, it will have legacy for the journey, but definitely not the finale.
All right, fair enough. See, even I mean, I don't know. I still hold on to my views on the subject, and I think it was a very clever ending in the respect of the writing and the comparisons to a lot of stuff. And you need to, so it's kind of hard
And it was.
to
I'm not saying
appreciate
it wasn't. I'm,
sometimes.
I'm I'm not saying it wasn't like clever. I'm not saying it was poorly written. It was. It's still an amazing piece of television. It just lacked something that Breaking Bad usually has.
All right, fair enough. Okay,
Right.
so
Move on.
let's go ahead and move on to theaters. Now, try as I may, I could not find any avenues to watch the movie that we're going to talk about today, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, which just premiered in the United States and has yet to premiere here in Puerto Rico, which is so sad. And I think that would be
Was it
the
so salad? Was it
God.
salad?
Uh, uh, there's a leak on the
I'm gonna
boat.
tell you right now, the movie was excellent. It was very good.
Dear God. Okay, before we keep going, just to give you all a few tidbits of information. On IMDb, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs has a 6.9 out of 10. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 60% and a 74% for top critics. And on Metacritic, it has a 59%. It's directed, like we said last week, by Cody Cameron and Chris Pern. Stars Bill Hader, Anna Faris, and James Caan, among others. Bill Hader's known for Superbad and Forgetting Sarah Marshall, among others. Anna Faris was in House Bunny, Lost in Translation, and she is Cindy in all of the scary movies. And James Caan is from Get Smart and The Godfather. So, since I have not seen it yet, I will let Mr. Cog Games take it away.
So I'll leave it spoiler free. Essentially, I'll just say it's a wonderful CGI movie that has tons and tons of food puns.
So it was your kind
Uh,
of movie, is what you're saying.
it was great. Shrimp pansies, taco dials, hippo potato otomuses. That's so hard to say.
Dear
Um,
God.
there's a bunch of foodimals. There was living pickles. They didn't really have a name. They're like just tribesmen. It was funny. It was really, really funny. It was delightful. It was imaginative. It was very creative. The story was highly derivative. Yeah, it was worth seeing in theaters, but I wouldn't go in expecting a Pixar level movie as far as storytelling, but as far as creativity and uniqueness, it definitely scores very high on that.
Was it as clever, as beautiful, as awesome as the first one? How would you
Yes.
place it? Yes? You would say
Yeah,
that
it was like
it's
if you took the first one and mixed it with Jurassic Park. Seriously, like you took all that wonderment and color and then you just made it a journey across an island. You spread it like butter on toast.
So you think the first one was less good than this one? Second one
No, I
was
think they're
worse?
both on par. They're almost completely two different movies.
Really?
I mean, the first one was about making friends and the struggles of that. The second one is about keeping friends and juggling external responsibilities
Mm,
with also how to be a good friend. And of course, that's the moral undertones, but
right.
the journey itself, instead of the first one was very much about Flynn and his life and the things around him, it's more about the Flynn journeying through something. And that something is the island, which has been transformed into this jungle and has tons of food animals, and it's great.
Right.
It, it reminded me a little bit of the Croods because of a simple structure. The Croods is a movie that came out last year.
Well, we'll talk about that because it's coming to DVD. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's the same structure as in they have to go from point A to point B, and they go through unknown lands, and there's a bunch of pretty things, and it's totally unique. Yeah, I watched the movie alone, which was very depressing.
And considering the fact that we talked about that last week,
Ugh.
that's pretty funny.
Isn't it awful? Just like I was talking about it, and I would judge people that do it and how they're awful human beings. And then I
And
had to
then
do
you
it
had
because
to
I
go
made you
and
watch
watch.
this stupid movie that was quite good, and you should watch it.
Did you buy popcorn for yourself?
I was tempted to. I really was. Because for some reason, eating popcorn in a movie theater makes it less awkward that you're there alone.
Right, right. Or maybe it
No,
makes you
I
look
did not. I
fatter. I
wanted to
mean,
save
that's
money.
also. I saw one person walk in with like a giant drink and a giant piece of popcorn and just sit by himself and
Just a piece of popcorn,
just
just one
yeah,
gigantic
just one
kernel that just
enormous kernel
oh,
and just he kind of chewed on it like a little rodent throughout the movie.
that's not creepy.
That's no, not at all.
No, it was fine. It was lonely and sad, but the movie experience itself, it was like being at home and just watching it on Netflix and then having annoying roommates yelling or something. Like,
People talking in movies.
yeah. I mean, it was little kids. I mean, it was not a little kids movie watching this. Luckily, it wasn't packed. I went to like a matinee, so there was like
Oh,
3 other
okay,
people.
gotcha.
I mean,
Well,
if it was packed, that would be super awkward.
you'd be sitting there.
So,
You'd be sitting there like with a kid to your left and a kid to your right, and then pretending like you're not a pedophile. Yeah,
yeah,
I went to this
totally.
movie alone. Trust me, guys.
Do you want some candy?
You want
I
to try
brought
this
some
popcorn?
extra.
It's so good. Extra butter.
They,
Here, lick my fingers.
they fell out of the box. They're just in my pocket. Let me just grab them. Okay, let's move on to my
Okay.
depressing life.
Okay. Anyway, so moving on, we're going to go ahead and go into the Netflix movie spotlight, totally not sponsored by Netflix yet. Hopefully we will someday. But what we do during the Netflix movie spotlight is after we do one of the podcasts, we sit around and browse Netflix, see a movie that we find intriguing or interesting, or the title is ludicrous, or the premise is idiotic or awesome or interesting, or we've heard of it, anything, and we decide to watch it. The movie has to be streamable, and then we talk about it the next week. Last week, we decided on the movie It's a Disaster, which on IMDb has a 6.4 out of 10, on Rotten Tomatoes, a 77%, a 64% top critics rating, and on Metacritic, a 57%. The movie is directed by Todd Berger. It stars, and all of these are pretty much main characters, honestly. Rachel Boston as Lexi, Kevin Brennan as Buck, David Cross as Glenn, America Ferrera as Heidi, Jeff Grace as Shane, sorry. Aaron as Shank.
Dark for a second.
Aaron Hayes as Emma, Blaze Miller as Pete, and Julia Stiles as Tracy. So let's go ahead and get talking about it. What did you
I'm gonna
think?
say Julia Stiles is like now my new crush.
Really? She's your new crush?
None of that. I keep watching Bob's Burgers on Hulu. That's irrelevant. The point is they keep putting commercials up for her Julia Stiles' new show called Blue. It's about her being like a prostitute, and between that and It's a Disaster, I'm like, this woman is like a more mature Jennifer Lawrence
What's that?
with smaller boobs.
Oh, what's that new show? The one that I think it has Jennifer Love Hewitt giving people hand jobs.
What the hell's that? What is that?
Don't worry about it.
Is it Ghost Whisperer?
I don't even know. I just heard about it and then I thought, huh, and moved on with my life.
Wait, what?
Anyway,
Jennifer Love Hewitt's giving hand jobs on the corner.
so tune in next week on PostGrad Entertainment where we talk about Jennifer Love Hewitt giving hand jobs. Anyway, let's keep
How far
talking.
has her career fallen?
Let's keep talking about It's a Disaster. So what did you think of It's a Disaster?
It was good, besides the lack of Jennifer Love Hewitt hand jobs. No, it was actually quite pleasant. It was
It was a really
tonally much
lighthearted,
different from the
dark
last two
comedy.
comedies we saw.
Right.
It was good. It was way more subtle in its humor, and I appreciated that.
It was. That's true. I don't know. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought I don't know. It was really interesting. They handled the way that Todd Berger handled or Berger handled the shots and the camera was really interesting, considering the fact that he's come from a background which is almost entirely television and shorts. I don't know. It was crazy. He did it really well. He sets the stage fantastically with the beginning. You know, their argument of not understanding how, what they're doing, or sorry, the beginning with the whole not understanding why you shouldn't stop the song before the ending, and then, oh, we can listen to it again, and blah blah, and they start fighting, and then they're like, fine, let's listen to the song again, and then they click it and they go like, and then it's some other song, they're like, oh, radio, like it's just such a I guess a typical argument that has misunderstandings, and then two people refusing to see each other's side. It was just so ordinary. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's precisely. I think you nailed it. It's ordinary circumstances that are naturally awkward, like bringing your date that you've went on a date like 3 times with to meet all your friends. Like, it's just going to be awkward and weird, and then throw this kind of like mundane everyday problems into the setting of an apocalypse. And
can I just say that they set the stage really, really well with the first shot with the credits rolling and whatnot, where it was like zoomed into one area of a photo, and then that was nice. It was pleasant, and then it slowly zoomed out with Flight of the Conchords. And then you saw that it was zoomed in on a beach segment of one of the test nuking sites, and it was wonderful. That beginning was phenomenal, and the sense of ordinariness was really enhanced by the still shots and the use of color. The color was so normal. It was so normal. It was just
that's what I felt the whole time. I'm like, this is a normal brunch.
It was
that
bland.
Just went wrong.
The colors were bland. The people intermingling with each other. Can we talk about that really quick? The way that the people intermingled with one another. The shots were like steady shots or shots that followed people. And then when there were people talking, you could still hear the background conversation of the other people. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
That was so good. They were having a completely different conversation, but you could hear it. It was like you were there.
Yeah,
and
that's precisely, yeah.
Totally. And the flow from one room to another. People came in and they were like blah 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 talking or whatever, and then somebody else came in. They're like, oh, awkward, yeah, stuff. And then they kind of walked out, and then the other person started talking, and then they all moved, and then another group came in. It was the group dynamic, and of having a bunch of friends in your house was so good. It was done exceptionally well. Ugh. And when it got uncomfortable, it got so
it felt uncomfortable.
So
it felt
uncomfortable.
Like you were just sitting there having to listen to boring conversation and everyday life,
and then having someone say something really, really awkward that shouldn't have been said because you don't know some of the people there, and then everyone's like, yeah, just.
Can we just go into full spoilers then?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay, let's back up and just be like, okay, it's about a group of friends that have like Sunday brunch every single Sunday, and it turns out that later in the movie you find out that a couple is having some marital problems,
right,
as in extraneous sexual affairs
with other people that are currently present at the brunch.
Right, and all of that gets kind of. It gets kind of crazy pretty quickly because they have that dynamic going on at once, and then all of a sudden the power goes out, the internet goes out, everything, and a man walks in a hazsuit that says, yo, dirty bombs exploded, I gotta go.
And then he goes, do you guys have some C batteries? Who even has C batteries? And then later on in the movie, look, C batteries.
I loved how like mundane it was. Hey, yeah, the world, it's going to shit. Why am I not invited to this Sunday brunch?
The juxtaposition of the ordinary with the so out of the ordinary was fantastic. And then you have like, you can see it because they constantly had reminders that stuff was going wrong on the outside. When you have like, first the guy shows up and tells them, oh, do you have C batteries? The world's ending. And then he just like, he goes like, whatever, and he leaves. And they're arguing or whatever, talking with one another, trying to deal with it, figuring stuff out about themselves. And then all of a sudden, their friends that always show up late show up, and the guy's out there like almost dying, and the girl's like, "You should totally let us in," just being really creepy. And then they start fighting about always being late.
You're always late to a party.
And then
is that really why you do this? No, it was about her sleeping with her old boyfriend or something.
Right, old boyfriend. But then she goes like, blah blah blah. You shouldn't be. But I guess this will teach you not to be late. And then they die on their porch.
And I love how every time they did an outside shot of the house, they were just dead.
It was like progressing. You know, it was like first they were dead on the porch, and then the next shot it was them being dead with the crows flying around to eat on that were eating them, and then the next shot was them dead with the crows dead.
It was really funny, but it was subtle.
It was really subtle.
Like, you should totally check out this.
Right. And I just love the, you know, the fact that they managed to keep it really lighthearted, even though they were dealing with some really heavy themes. You know what I mean?
Right.
That phone call from the people with the internet service or whatever it was that were from in the Philippines or Indonesia or wherever the hell they were from, and it was like, can you turn on the TV? Are you saying to turn on the TV? And then all of a sudden he turns on the TV and goes like, holy shit, is that the Golden Bridge? And then the guy goes like, or is it the Bay Bridge? I always get those two confused.
Just like, no, your country's totally effed in the B. Let's talk about stupid things. And I'm like, this is totally the type of conversations that would probably happen.
Oh my god. Oh, it honestly kind of exceeded my expectations. I thoroughly enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I know that I will probably be recommending it to a couple people because it's so good. It's legitimately good.
Just two very select people will be. I think this movie is not for everybody. That's for sure.
That's true. Definitely for sure. And even though can we with a couple more spoilers, notably the end, can we just mention the fact that they really hid. Even though I kind of suspected a tiny in the back of my mind, but they really hid the fact that David Cross was a crazy very, very well up until the end.
Oh, completely.
And then all of a sudden you see him putting.
they mentioned this a couple times, but it was very subtle.
Right.
It was like, no way.
Right, and then all of a sudden you see him putting, you know, the pills and the rat poison into the drink, and at that moment you feel the exact same emotions that she's feeling when she sees it. You know. As soon as Julia Stiles walks in and you see her face and you see what he's doing, you pretty much, your face makes the same face that her face makes. You know what I mean? It
was so funny. He was like trying to essentially kill like all her friends, and she goes, "God damn it! I always pick the insane people."
Right.
And that's so great.
And then I love that they all decide to kill themselves with the poison in the end. And then she's like, "Okay, wait a second. Before we do this, can we all agree that he's crazy?" And then they're like, "Oh yeah, no, totally nutso. You know, crazy, just gone." I mean, and then he goes like, "All right, no offense, man." He's like, "None taken." You know, it's just so it's so.
Can you say that again? Like that whole thing.
So normal. So ordinary.
Yeah, precisely.
And then the ending, I mean, it left me wanting to know what actually happened. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it was so perfect. It was such a perfect ending for that movie.
It was a little bit, really, that's how they're going to end it. I think that was actually one of my only hangups was, really. But you're not... Okay.
But it was so, I don't know, it seemed like the fitting ending for the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it seemed like the perfect way to end it. I think, at least in my opinion. I don't know how it could have ended, you know, what other way it could have ended, but I definitely enjoyed that ending. In the beginning, not so much. I was like, I want to know what happened, but then I thought about it and I'm like, that was a good ending. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
All right, so would you recommend It's a Disaster to other people?
Yeah. If you enjoy subtle humor and kind of a low-key comedy, I highly suggest It's a Disaster.
It's a Disaster, everybody. All right.
If you watch that movie for literally 10 minutes and you don't like it, you will not like the rest of the movie.
That's actually really true. I completely agree.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's on Netflix. Watch it for 10 minutes. If you like it, continue watching. If you don't like it,
don't watch it. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So, anyway, moving on to new on DVD and Blu-ray as well as theaters. For DVD and Blu-ray, we have We Steal Secrets, the story of WikiLeaks. This is the end, the Croods, and the Little Mermaid Diamond Edition.
Yeah, under the sea. That's all I can do without getting sued. I probably could actually get sued for that.
Right. Cognitive Gamer actually was the one that brought up that the Little Mermaid Diamond Edition was coming out on DVD and Blu-ray because he was looking it up.
I thought it was very interesting at the price skews that they have. That's all.
But yes, Little Mermaid is fantastic. I haven't seen the Croods. He has, so he can totally tell you guys whether or not it's worth watching. I mean,
it's Nick Cage's best performance in years.
Really? Really? I thought Knowing was his best performance.
Oh, that was so bad. Or what was the other
The
one?
Wicker
The
Man?
Witch.
The Wicker Man?
Not the
No,
bees.
the
No, that was
bees!
awful. No, the one about him like having to protect a girl and she was a witch or some garbage.
Yeah,
Or
that one.
Bangkok Dangerous. He's in He's in another movie that looks like garbage.
Full disclosure, everybody, Nick Cage is the Cognitive Gamer's favorite actor.
I love Nick Cage. He's just the best. I really enjoy his acting when he actually tries and not be garbage.
Okay, so Nick Cage's best role in The Croods, if you want to see it. We also have this.
That's all we're gonna say about
Yes,
it.
we are.
We're just gonna say
We're just gonna say that it's Nick Cage's
Emma Stone's best
role.
performance. Also,
Really, it is. I don't even.
I don't know.
I don't even know.
It was a good movie, except for the ending, which it just drug on for like half an hour, way too long, and it was stupid and cringeworthy at times. It was absolutely cringeworthy at times. I'd give it about a C.
A C.
A C grade.
Okay. Well,
A for effort. C in actuality.
Okay, thank you. So for This Is the End, we actually talked about it in our last podcast, so you should check it out. And for a Too Long Didn't Hear, we both enjoyed it. I didn't think it was that excellent or that fantastical. It was definitely enjoyable, but it wasn't too good for me. It wasn't my type of thing. But Cognitive Gamer really enjoyed it. So yeah. And We Still Secrets is a phenomenal movie. So
Sure.
it's a documentary though. So if you're interested in WikiLeaks and all that type of stuff. Yes, it is. Yes.
Oh, I thought that aren't they making like a dramatic reenactment of it?
Well, I mean, what are documentaries but dramatic reenactments sometimes? But well, back.
Isn't real life just really fake?
Is that really it? Is that how you're gonna end it? It's like the people that put 3D glasses on when they walk out of a theater and they go like everything looks 3D. Oh God!
Documentaries just lives fakeness. Like, come on, man.
What are you even saying, dear God? We're speaking really crappy Zen stuff right now. Is what's going on.
That's the point. That's exactly what you just said. When I'm like, aren't they doing a dramatic reenactment? Aren't documentaries just dramatic reenactments? Aren't they just caricatures of real life portrayed?
I totally did not. I totally did not. You have certain inflections in your voice that I did not include. It's the equivalent of going like, "Oh yeah, isn't that lamp in the shape of a person?" versus adding the inflections and going like, "Isn't that lamp in the shape of a person?" You know?
Aren't we all just lamps in the end? You totally said it like that. You could back up the tape and listen to yourself, but that's a waste of time.
All right. Okay. Anyway. Moving on to theaters. At this point, we've already lost half of our audience.
We don't have an audience.
We don't have an audience yet. Anyway, so yeah, moving on to theaters. We have two movies coming out, Runner, Runner, and Gravity. Let's go ahead and skip Runner, Runner. You can go ahead and...
JT and
Ben Affleck. Right. Yeah, that's so great. Whatever. Okay.
Batman and one of the best pop singers of all time.
All right, we're done. The movie that I'm really excited about is Gravity, which is opening up this week.
Justin Timberlake in that one?
No, shut up.
I don't care then.
Gravity is probably the movie that I've been most excited for ever since I heard that it was coming out a long while ago. It's a long whiles ago. It's
of course. What other scenario would you be excited for if you didn't know?
I recently heard that it was coming out. I don't know. Stop attacking me for the way that I'm saying things right now.
How does it feel, cool guy? How does it feel?
It doesn't feel cool, man. It doesn't feel cool. How about that? My first pun. Thank you, everybody. I would like to thank the Academy.
So Gravity. You don't understand the gravity of the situation.
God damn it.
That's a conversation.
So Gravity is directed by Alfonso Cuarón, who directed the third Harry Potter film and did a phenomenal job with it, at least in my opinion. It is either the best Harry Potter film, tied with part 2, last one, or it is the second best with that movie, at least in my opinion. And Gravity looks stunning, absolutely stunning. What do you think? What do you think, Cog Games?
You're really dragging this down, like Gravity. We have to space this out. It looks interstellar. It looks good. No, it looks phenomenal.
No, really, please go
I
on.
really
Please
can't
go
wait
on.
to
I want to
watch
know.
it.
I want to know how many puns you can make
This is
with
not even a good
gravity
one.
and with space.
It's definitely not Bull-ick. Sandra Bullock in it.
It stars Sandra Bullock and George Clooney.
It's not a normal Clune of other movies.
Oh God, that was legitimately your worst one, and we're gonna go ahead and finish with that one because that was awful.
It looks awesome. It looks amazing. It's going to be an amazing movie, and I can't wait to
It
watch
is.
it in 2 weeks when I take my girlfriend there. Yes, I do have a girlfriend, and because she's absolutely terrified of outer space.
Right, I totally forgot that she has a phobia of outer space.
Yeah,
Oh my God, it's gonna be
she
really.
is like already mentally preparing herself for watching a movie about getting lost in space.
She's mentally preparing herself. How does your hand have a brain? Oh, oh, oh. Nailed it.
Man, you're really burning me up in the atmosphere on that one.
Oh my God. And if we were gonna have an audience at some point, we're done now. It is
I
over.
have that one guy that's like not even the same country. He's gonna be like from like the Philippines, and he's just gonna be like, "You're right, we do have call centers," and then he's gonna listen to that and just be like, "Man, I need a better life than listening to random podcasts."
I feel like what we're doing right now is just slightly opening the door for our audience, and then they walk in and you have a bat that just has a label on it that says man, and you're just beating them as soon as they walk in through the door.
The bat is also a pun for something else. God damn it. One of those nights. Oh.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you said why the joke was funny. You're like, the bat is also a pun, viewers, listeners, whatever the heck you are. You listen with your brain ear holes.
Analogy. It's maybe not. It's a metaphor.
Oh God.
It's a metaphor for documentary being the hard reality that true life isn't.
Dear God.
Gravity looks phenomenal.
Gravity looks amazing. Gravity looks amazing. Everyone, go watch it. All right. Anyway, moving on to the last segment of your Dear God, I Might Be Crying, to the news segment. The movie news. Okay. So for movie news, we have Jennifer Lawrence is probably going to be in Dumb and Dumber 2, which we have gotten a flood of pictures showing that it's in filming stages right now. So that is interesting, and we will see.
Do you think it's going to be a big role, or do you think it's just going to be like, "Hi,
I think it's probably going to be. I think it's going to be a big-ish role. It might be like the girl in the original movies, where it's like, so you mean I have a chance, when she puts him down or whatever,
Yeah.
It might be one of those kind of roles. I don't know. I don't know if she'll be a big role or not, but we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. Then we have Antonio Banderas in.
God, can you say that again? Slower and more sexy.
Antonio Banderas. How's that? That
A
work?
little more greasy than I wanted.
A little more greasy. Antonio Banderas. There you go.
Perfect.
There you go.
Oh,
It's
I feel like you're like giving me the wine specials at a fancy Mexican restaurant.
You walk outside and we have our finest Antonio Bandera right here on the side. It has been aged for 52 years, and the people that made it are dead now. I would never be a good waiter.
You'd be the worst waiter.
I'd be the worst.
If you said that, the people who made this wine are dead.
And their essence has been infused into the spirits, and then just like pour them a glass of wine and walk away.
Their ashes are in
the wine. That's why you can see Flex. All right. So yes, Antonio Banderas is going to be a live action person in the second SpongeBob movie.
Welcome to America. Antonio Banderas.
So yeah, Antonio Banderas is going to be in SpongeBob 2, which is going to be awesome. God, SpongeBob's awesome. All right. Then we have apparently a Mr. Rogers movie, which Cog Games knows all about. So go ahead and inform us about what's going on.
I'm proud of you. It's a movie about a broken man who's at the end of his rope and eventually runs into Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers is like, yo, dog, you need to get a better life. And he's like, cool. And it's directed by the people that did Little Miss Sunshine, so you know it's going to be indie and awesome.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that totally G reading of what happens with Mr. Rogers. Moving on, we have The Wolf on Wall Street got pushed into next year for the, when it's finally going to come out in theaters. And it's sad because I was really excited for Wolf on Wall Street, which looks phenomenal. And you all should watch the trailer if you haven't seen it. It is
Kanye West.
It's a Martin Scorsese movie. Really? You're going to say that it features Kanye West and not say the insanely star-studded cast that it has and how amazing it is?
It's a great trailer.
It really is, especially the midget throwing.
Okay.
All right.
Jonah Hill's also in it.
Yes, he is.
Jonah Hill was also in
Oh,
Superbad,
God.
which is amazing.
Okay. And then moving on, we have a director for Paranormal Activity 5.
Yay.
See, I was all right with the first one. I mean, I enjoyed it as a movie. It was cool and whatnot. And then they made 15. So
actually, no, they're only at 4, but next year they're coming out with 2 of them.
The same year?
Yeah. So none of them. So essentially, what they did was push a Paranormal Activity from this year
into like
January.
Oh, that's how you know it's going to be a bad movie. January movies, when they get slated for then, you know that they're going to be bad movies.
But it's a Latino spin-off called Paranormal Activity: The Marked Ones.
Are you serious right now?
Unos.
That was awful. You are a terrible Mexican.
No, it's Paranormal Activities. I fully enjoy Paranormal Activities. I don't think they're amazing by any stretch of the imagination. I think what they do with the camera is really cool.
That's true. The
story is stupid, and I don't know. There's just a fun movie to put on and watch with like 10 people on a couch and be like, look at this. I don't know. It's a fun movie.
Thank you for that great description. And who's the director of Prisoner Activity? Paranormal Activity 5? It's the same one that was a producer for the earlier films, yeah?
Yeah. Correct. I forget his name. Yeah, he was a producer, now he's the director. Somebody else is doing Marked Ones.
Right.
Yeah.
And we want to go ahead and move on and end with perhaps the greatest bit of movie news that came out. Sylvester Stallone during the filming of Expendables 3.
Oh, hold on. We need a moment of silence.
Moment of silence. Okay, he got attacked by a wild boar.
He's dead.
He's totally not
he's
dead.
not dead.
But that's hilarious.
Yeah,
I would like to see the wild boar sort of like attack Stallone and then have the entire cast of Expendables 3 just descend on him and man up that boar and eat it later. You know what I mean? That sounds like a rape scenario.
Yes.
My apologies.
What? I don't know. I don't have very many run-ins with wild boars. I feel like that's something. Have you ever run into a wild boar?
No, I've never run into a wild boar.
I feel like that must be awkward.
But yeah, that's probably the most random bit of news that we've gotten out of the movies recently. Just randomly got attacked by a boar. I mean, what can you do? When those boars come a charging, there's really not much you can do.
Yeah, it sounds like your normal Saturday nights.
That's true. All right. So that about wraps it up for this episode of PostGrad Entertainment Presents PostGrad Movies. And if you want to keep up with both of us, you can always follow us on Twitter. Mine is The Right Pad, so you can search for me there. And Cognitive Gamers is Cognitive
Gamer.
You're as creative as I am.
Yeah.
You can also read his blogs and whatnot and chat. Or if you really feel like actually writing something big out, you can always email us at postgradentertainment@gmail.com and let us know what you think. Give us comments, critiques, all of that, and put on the top on the search, not on the search, on the subject line, put, comment, critique, whatever, so that we can go ahead and filter all the ones that say critique into a box that says I don't care.
It's really easy.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's not rocket science.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just saying it would make it a lot easier if we have it in the title so that we can just ignore them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
Right.
It was needed to get people in outer space like gravity.
God damn it. Okay. All right. Anyway, we want to go ahead and thank you all for
Thank you
listening
very
in.
much.
This is a passion project for both of us. We're really doing this just to sort of hang out and talk movies. It might not be professional, it might not be profound, but it is always fun. So,
Yeah, it's not like documentaries.
right. Thank you. Well, anyway, glad you tuned in and check us out next week.